It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show. Let's head west now. Western Eyre netball, a big round of matches last week. Another win for the West Coast Hawks, which will please our next guest, Reanna Freeman, who is on the line. Coach Freeman, how are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm going very well, thank you. And it was a battle of the West last week, the West Coast Hawks and Western United. You headed out west and you came away with the points.
We did, only by 6, which a win's a win, so we'll take the 6-goal win. But it was actually a really good game. It was Westies 41 to Hawks 47. We got a nice little lead at the start by 5 goals, and then it was quite close from there on in, with Westies pegging it back to only 3 in the third quarter. Westies, as we spoke about off air, they've got a really handy side, and I think as the season goes on, once they sort out a few positions and whatnot, I think they'll only get stronger as the year goes on. There was Chloe who played in goals, and then she trialled for association in goal defence, and I think she plays fantastically both ends, and she's definitely one to watch in that Westies side. But yeah, Hawks very happy with that 6-goal win, and I must say I was super impressed with Westies on Saturday. We had a few injuries, and they were very quick to help us out whenever we needed, and very welcoming at the grounds up there. So a shout out to them to say thank you.
Oh, good stuff. Now, I couldn't find a B grade score here. Did the B grade game actually happen?
The B grade game did happen. Hawks went down, so that was Hawks' first loss for the season. But both myself, being coach of the B grade, and the Westies coach made mistakes on our scorecards, and mistakes are not allowed for many reasons. So neither of us won, but technically Westies did. They had a brilliant game in that B grade.
I knew there would be a reason for it, so thank you for clearing that up. Let's have a look at the other A-grade games. We'll move on, and we will move down to the Wirralur game next, and they racked up a cricket score against Canibba. Interestingly enough, I think there was only 1 goal in it in the B grade in this clash, but in the A grade it was a different story altogether. Wirralur 72, Canibba 25. Wow.
Yeah, massive scoreline. So Wirralur coming away with a 47-goal win, which was huge in netball. But not only that, to get 72 goals in the game and Canibba to still get the 25 is really big. So that's obviously top of the ladder versus bottom of the ladder, and that shows the difference between the two sides. But speaking to a couple of girls on Sunday, they said that although the scoreline was massive, throughout the court there were some really good matchups and some really good play. Canibba most certainly didn't disgrace themselves, still getting 25 goals, and Wirralur would be really happy with that. And I think Canibba, as the season goes on, will also build when they settle a few positions and work out. And I must admit, watching Canibba a few weeks ago, geez, they have got a very strong future with some of the young girls I've seen playing in their junior level.
No doubt about that. Let's talk about traditional rivals Thevenard and Ceduna Blues. What a game they had. Low scoring clash, must be said, but Thevenard ended up getting the win here, 36 to 29, just 7 goals in it, and Thevi would be pleased with that.
They certainly would be. So Thevi have been unfortunate with their injuries and swaps and changes everywhere, and Blues didn't have Taylor Collins, who's their goalie, so probably a really good matchup throughout the court. Thevi only come away with a 7-goal win, so this would have been a really good game. Blues won 2 out of 4 of the quarters, and Thevi won the other 2. So I think the whole game was really well matched. Blues couldn't quite match the Thevi height in the ring, and I think that sort of let them down a bit. But I did hear Blues, Hayley Clayton played a ripper game in goal defence. But Thevi would be very happy with that 7-goal win. No
doubt about it. Now, if we have a quick check of the ladder, we've still got 2 undefeated sides. Wirralur and the West Coast Hawks, 4 from 4. That's Midwest representing at the top of the ladder. Thevenard now move up to 3rd. Western United on percentage in 4th. Ceduna Blues out of the 4 after that loss on percentage. And Canibba yet to break their duck. Why does all of that matter? Well, this week we've got the battle of the former Far West clubs, currently undefeated in Western Eyre netball. The clash of the Titans, the West Coast Hawks, hosting Wirralur at Pidnippy. Tradition from Midwest meets Western Eyre.
Absolutely, and everyone's very excited for this game. It will be an absolute cracking game. Hawks are back to their full lineup this Saturday with a few girls away last week, and from what I've heard, Wirralur have got their full lineup, so there's no excuses. Hawks and Wirralur have always had a bit of a clash, regardless of what association we've been playing in, and percentage would say that Wirral generally always comes out on top, and I think they would go in hot favourites Saturday, but only just. I think this will be a well-matched game. I'd like to back my girls, and I do believe they can do it, but I think you would have to go with Wirral being favourites, and especially after seeing them play on Sunday in the association trials. They are looking as good as ever.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about those association trials a bit later on as well, but should be a cracking game of netball, that one. Some other clashes this week shape up pretty good as well. Now, Kinniba at home to Thevenard, who didn't put a whole heap of goals on the board last week. Kinniba, if they can just get it right at the goal end, they could do some damage later in the year.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't write Kinniba off at all. They've certainly got some talent in their team. Sevi would go in favourites to this game. But as you said, going off last week, Sevi not putting as many goals in as I would have thought, I wouldn't write Kinniba off, but I would definitely tip Sevi for the win if they are going in with their side from last week.
And the Ceduna Blues, they will host Western United this week at the Ceduna Sports Club. It should be a cracking game. These two sides really fighting it out for a finals berth. I know we're a long way away from that. It's only round 5, but these are important games when these two play each other. Yeah,
I agree. So they're both only with one win so far, and now seeing both teams, I think I'm a little bit more confident in actually knowing what I'm talking about when I talk about the teams. But I reckon I would go with Westies with this game. After seeing them Saturday and seeing what they can do on the court when they all gel together and get the ball rolling, I think they could be a force to be reckoned with. And they've got a really good and very tall goalkeeper, and her name has slipped me, so I do apologise. I should have written it down. But if height was an issue for Blues last week, I think she would definitely make a massive impact on their game, and I reckon I would tip the Westies for this one.
All right. Now, before we wrap up, the association trials, you touched on them before. The teams have been named and some Hawks girls have got in.
Yeah, so we've got a good representation. We've got Alana Beard and McKenna Reedy from Hawks, and then we've got Jazz Billing, Chloe Ettridge, Sophie Keller, Ellie O'Brien, Marnie Trowbridge, Summer Trowbridge, Hayley Webb and Emma Willis makes up the whole team. And anyone that knows any of those girls knows that is going to be an absolute cracking lineup, height up both ends, a lot of speed, a lot of skill, and I cannot wait to see these girls play at Lock Regionals on Sunday the 23rd. And then we are also taking the same team over to Country Champs in June. So I think they'll get this carnival under their belt at Lock and come out bigger and stronger in time for Country Champs in Adelaide.
Can't wait for Western Eyre to get stuck into association netball again. It's great to have them back to the Country Champs as well. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I certainly am. I think it's great that they've got an A-grade side, and not just any A-grade side, a very strong one. So I think this might get people excited and hopefully keen to do it on a regular basis in the future.
Good stuff. Well, good luck to everyone in Western Eyre netball this weekend, and we'll talk more about that association, the Lock Carnival teams next week. All the best to yourself and your girls running around this weekend.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to updating you next week.